Hi, beautiful souls. It's Robbie with Inner Powered Life, and today I am going to be talking about energy vampires. And many of us may be familiar with this terminology in the narcissistic abuse recovery community. And a lot of us, as neurodivergent people, in particular if we have a background of bullying and abuse experience, it is very easy for us to be targeted by energy vampires. A lot of us have experienced extensive gaslighting by abusers so that we don't trust our intuition. We may not be sure that somebody is actually being an energy vampire, or we may feel like it's our responsibility to regulate them or to accommodate them to end the cycle. Being able to distinguish the types of energy vampires and developing strategies for dealing with them are very important tools in our recovery and to help us break the cycle and to stay in our power. So I will be breaking down some of the types now. You will probably recognize these characteristics in people you've known, and a lot of them have overlapping tendencies. So let's get into it. So the first one that I am going to be talking about is the emotional leech. And a lot of us have dealt with this person, and they may be people who do have legitimate health concerns or situational concerns, and there is a reason they have problems, but they are choosing to stay in victim mode and they don't actually want to get out of it because they have an emotional payoff by being a perpetual poor, pathetic victim. Okay. And so you will know an emotional leech because they usually have the same story of whatever their victimization or their horrible circumstances. They tell it to everybody. They say that they want help or advice, but when they're given that, they always have some reason why that won't work. Or they say, I've tried everything. And then you find out they actually haven't, or they might have tried one thing in a half-baked way and didn't follow through. And of course, it didn't work. And essentially, no matter what resources they are given or any support that they're offered, there's always some reason why it's never going to work. And they're always going to be this poor victim. If you continue to enable that by allowing them to suck out your sympathy, they won't stop. And not only are they probably doing that to you, if they have other acquaintances, they're probably doing the same thing to everybody that they know. They literally are leeching off of everybody for something. Now, a lot of us can have a tendency, particularly if we're going through a hard time, where we sort of do this. We might tell the same thing if we went through a breakup or we're unemployed or there's a thing. Um, there's a difference between going through a hard season, needing support, and just needing to talk about it, and this perpetual state of always being a victim, and there's always no support, and there's always a reason why, and they always need sympathy, and just constant complaining and whining. With people like this, the best that you can do is once you see they're doing this and they're leeching and they don't really want to get better or they don't want to pursue help, is start redirecting the conversation if you have to deal with them away from that and start putting distance between yourself and them. If you have offered them support, like, hey, check out this resource or whatever, you can remind them, oh, were you able to connect with whatever resource? They'll probably have an excuse, but you're letting them know, look, I've done what I can for you. You kind of need to deal with yourself now. You are not a bad person if you put distance between yourself and emotional leech because they don't get better. The more that you allow them to take from you, the worse that they get. So understand you can be a compassionate, empathetic person without letting them suck you dry and without having to listen to the same story forever. The next one that we will discuss is the precious princess. And I use this term, but it's not really gender specific. This is a mindset, it's an attitude. So the precious princess is super helpless and they can't do anything. They just need help and they can adult. And if you expect them to be accountable for being an adult, then you're mean and bad, and they'll talk about you, and there's and they melt down. And this is not the same thing as a meltdown or shutdown from sensory overload or anything like that. It's a manipulative tactic. They will do it to you, they will do it to everybody else. The main objective of the Precious Princess is they only want to do fun things. They don't want to be an adult. They don't want to be responsible in the workplace. They will try to dump all of their work on you and take credit for it later. And if you don't accommodate them, then they'll run around gossiping with you. You might also see this in like extended family dynamics. The way you deal with these people is don't take on their stuff. Do not do their work for them. Do not cater to them and run around everywhere with them and do special surprises and give them extra gifts and constantly flatter them and validate them and listen to their whining and their complaining and their bawling. When they start it, do the gray rock, shut down, disconnect, go to another room, put it back on them to deal with. Once they discover that they can't dump on you and you're not going to accommodate them and you don't think they're super special, they'll move on to somebody else. It's not worth dealing with these people. You're not going to get them to grow up, and it's not your responsibility. And you want to guard your energy that you need for your responsibilities and your life. Save that for you. Let the Precious Princess grow up and deal with their own stuff. So, with the Precious Princess, kind of like the next level, is the entitled person. And the entitled person tends to not be helpless like the Precious Princess. Instead, they think either by virtue of their position in the family or in a workplace, or because of financial position, or just in their own mind. They believe that they are entitled to special treatment, that everyone should serve them. Nobody can speak against them or have any kind of autonomy or any of their own power or identity. Everything is about serving the entitled person. Entitled people do not like people with inner power and their own identity. So, for this reason, a lot of neurodivergent people will clash with the entitled person, particularly in a workplace, because we don't have a really internal concept of hierarchy, like a pyramid kind of structure, right? We, as a whole, tend to be very egalitarian and collaborative. Entitled people don't like this. This interrupts their whole structure because then there's nobody to serve them. So if you are dealing with this in a family dynamic, you can choose to stay stuck in the I'm the matriarch, I'm the patriarch, I'm the whatever, you owe me forever if you want to do that. In a workplace, particularly if this person is a manager, do your job, follow your job description, do what you're supposed to do. You do not have to pander to them. You do not have to flatter them. You don't have to go above and beyond, and you do not ever have to shrink yourself or act stupid to make them feel more entitled. Do not do this. Do what you need to do with integrity and to the best of your ability while holding your own recognition of your value and that you are just as equal and you are just as legitimate and you are just as entitled to basic dignity and treatment as everyone else. With the entitled person, if you can stay kind of on the periphery or in the shadows where they don't pick you up on their radar, this can be super helpful because then they will try to find other people who are inclined to be obsequious and pander to them. This doesn't mean you should shrink at all. You do not ever shrink to accommodate somebody else. But if you can function without being where they can detect you, this helps preserve your energy. And then you can spend that energy elevating yourself and achieving your goals and taking care of what you need to do without having to expend energy pandering to them. So, our next energy vampire is the jealous person. And many of us have encountered the jealous person. It could be the frenemy who pretends to be happy for us, but has a snarky comment or a backhanded compliment. They might not be viciously undermining us, but they're always like, kind of somehow. There could also be the jealous type, particularly like in a work situation or even with some family members where they do get vicious about it. When you're dealing with a jealous energy vampire, the best thing that you can do for yourself is not to overly share anything with them. Don't overly share if something great happened to you, have a success, and also because they'll be jealous. And if you are going through a challenging circumstance, they're not the people you want to reach out to because they'll be secretly glad that you're having problems, right? So again, you don't have to shrink or hide yourself and everything good that's happening to you from them, but don't go out of your way to share it with them. Don't ask for validation for them, and don't give them any opportunity to be able to exploit that or sabotage you. And a lot of jealous people, particularly if they're tending to the vicious type, will look for any way that they can exploit that. It could be taking credit for your work. It could be sabotaging you. It could be gossiping about you, just undermining you like with little insults. Don't give them that energy. Don't give them any fuel, and let them just redirect their jealousy to somebody else because a jealous type of person will always be that way to some degree because that's how they are. They don't have any sense of self to the degree that they can value themselves. Everything has to be a competition. You do not want to engage with that. Your only competition is you and how much better you can be based on where you are. And that's not a pressure thing, it's just a motivation. Don't waste your motivation dealing with a competitive, jealous person. It is not worth it. They don't pour into you. They're probably not going to go with you to your next level, and you don't need to drag that along with you any more than necessary. After the jealous person, there's the sulky one. And the sulky person is kind of a low key, first level stage of the angry energy vampire, which we'll get to. And the sulky person is the one who is never happy. Nothing's ever good enough. If people are having a good time, they have to ruin it with a bad attitude. They have to suck the joy and the life out of everything. Everything's a complaint. A lot of them are victims and they're sulky because they've been victimized or somebody did something. They may have traits of all of the other types rolled into them. Their primary objective is to get everybody trying to make them feel better and just like pouring into them. You can't win with a sulky person. You can't make them feel better. All that's going to happen is they're going to suck your joy out. You're going to waste your time that you could spend on yourself, investing in yourself, trying to make them happy. It's like just pouring joy into a toilet. It's going to do you absolutely no good. They're not worth dealing with. The one redeeming quality about most sulky energy vampires is that they're not going to be like aggressively running after you to do something to you. So if you put distance from them and just don't engage with their stuff and whatever, they'll either just sit to themselves and sulk or they'll find somebody else to rain on. Don't give them any mind. You can't fix them. You can't make them happy. Make yourself happy. Keep moving and let them deal with their miserable victim state. It's not your responsibility. Where we start getting into the more dangerous types of energy vampires is like with the angry. And if you have been a victim of emotional or physical or whatever kind of abuse or violence, you've been dealing with an angry energy vampire. Angry energy vampires have the sole purpose of operating with you through fear, where they trigger you into fear, either fight or fawning or fight or freeze so that they can just do whatever. They love that because then they can dominate you. You will pander to them. You're constantly just shrinking down. It's perfect for them. The other thing they can do if they can't keep you in fear is to agitate you into anger. So they push you to the point where you're finally done and you blow up. They like that because they feed off that negative energy, and it also gives them an excuse to blame you. Narcissistic abusers love, absolutely love, love, love provoking their targets into anger. Because then they can take that and say, well, see, so and so did this to me in this kind of way. And it deflects from their own extreme dysfunction. And it keeps you in a state of dysregulation and a feeling of powerlessness because you're just so overwhelmed with the injustice of what they have done. If you are dealing with an angry energy vampire, first of all, if you are in any kind of physical danger, remove yourself. You are never, never, never obligated, whether it's a family or a partner or any other arrangement, to be a physical punching bag or the victim of constant emotional, verbal, or financial or any kind of abuse. Please, please, please find resources in your area to help you get out, or friends or family or somebody trusted that you can remove yourself from that situation. If you are dealing with a non-violent situation, but the person is still angry, the best thing you can do is do not engage with them as much as possible. Leave the room, cut them off on social media, go no contact if it's a family member, friend, partner. At work, try to put as much space between you and them as you can. Maybe earphones to block it out. Communicate with them only through electronic means so that all the interactions are documented. If you need it, try the best you can to stand up for yourself. 100% stand up for yourself and your boundaries and what is right. Try to keep yourself emotionally regulated so that you don't respond in anger, so you don't give them fuel. Remember, it is not ever, ever your responsibility to emotionally regulate another adult. If somebody else is angry, that is their responsibility, not yours. Do not accept that blame. Do not accept that responsibility. Protect yourself and your energy and your own well-being. And try to put as much distance between them and yourself as you can. This may mean finding another job. It may mean moving out. You will have to obviously navigate this in steps depending on whatever your situation is. But take steps to extricate yourself from a situation with an angry energy vampire. You cannot change them. They do not want to change, and there's no amount of being nice or fighting or gray rocking or freezing or anything else that you can do to change the way that they behave. This is their own internal dysfunction. You do not have to be a victim of them, okay? So remember that it is not your responsibility to regulate or fix any dysfunctional adult. Now, one thing that a lot of us will find is with these people, and this can happen in dysfunctional family systems and at work, is you will have others who are like, well, I know she's difficult, but you just need to accommodate her. No, she is difficult. She needs to deal with that. It's not your responsibility or anyone else's to accommodate her. If somebody has a temper, well, you know that he has a temper and he's angry. You just need to be careful not to set him off, and you need to stop because you know how he's going to be. So just stop and make sure that he's always happy. No, no, it is not your responsibility to regulate an angry or violent person ever. Nor is it your obligation to let these enablers pull you into the cycle and keep you trapped or make you feel guilty that you don't engage in that. So a good response, first of all, internally, is to have this in your mind. It is not my responsibility to regulate another adult. And communicate this to the flying monkeys and enablers. No, it is not my responsibility to pander to her because she's difficult. No, it is not my responsibility to continue to be abused or to walk on eggshells because he's an angry person with temper and violent issues. Not my responsibility. If they want to stay engaged with that, they can. You don't have to. Will you probably get pushback from this? Yes, but ultimately you are responsible for you and your well-being and your future, not for managing everybody else and their dysfunction. So I hope that this has been helpful. Please trust your intuition. If you continue interacting with a person and you notice any of these trends and you see that no matter what, it keeps going, you are probably dealing with an energy vampire. This is not a failure on your part. This is not a communication issue on your part. This is them. Your part is to take care of yourself. Please reach out if for local resources that you can probably find online if you're facing any um, dangerous situations to help get yourself out of that. Trust your intuition. Start putting distance between yourself and these abusers and just believe in yourself because you have the power in you to break these cycles. You are also incredibly valuable and brilliant and beautiful yourself. You don't owe anybody else anything. You don't owe these people your life force and your energy. I love you and I believe in you and I will catch you another time. Bye.